the federal government giving taxpayer money to a university is a privilege and not a right.
But let's throw to Harvard alumni and major tech investor and everything else. And I would say recently red-pilled Bill Ackman on a bit about what's going on at Harvard.
But the university has continued to mismanage every element of their business. They mismanaged the endowment. They've let their administrative expense get completely out of control, and now they're mismanaging their relationship with the university. The wrong thing to do with President Trump is to escalate. Look at what happened with China, where tariffs are. We're now in we're in DEFCON, 3, with respect to Harvard. So what did Harvard do? They just they didn't acknowledge anything that was correct in the letter from the administration, and then they turned around and they said definitively no, and then they sued the administration. My view is, and I think this is the view of most Americans, is that the federal government giving taxpayer money to a university is a privilege and not a right. And so what did the Trump administration ask for? They said, look, you need to reduce your administrative bloat, okay? Because, by the way, money is fungible, and maybe we're funding science projects, but effectively we're funding your overhead expense. And you need to bring your overhead expense down. You have to if you're going to take money from the taxpayers, we have to know that there's no waste. And there's massive, massive waste at Harvard. If you look at the compound annual, I did a little PowerPoint buy, sell, or hold on Harvard, which you can find out there. But if you look at the compound annual growth rate and administrative expense and the FTEs, full-time equivalents of the administrators versus faculty, the admin expense goes up like this, and the faculty is basically flat. So it's, if you think about this as a business, it's a business where when I graduated from Harvard, there were 1,600 people in my class. And the business of Harvard is educating, that 1,600. Well, if you fast forward to today, the graduating class of 2024 had like 1,640 people in it. Okay, so the university grew 3% over 36 years. Can you tell me of any great business of which you are aware? By the way, that's not a 3% annual compound rate. That's a 3% rate. It's probably it's hard for me to do the math, but it's 0.0 something, 8% compounded annual growth over 40 years. So it's not, and think about the growth in the population over the period. Think about the percentage of foreign students that are going to Harvard now. So this institution, chartered, oldest corporation in America, to educate the future leaders of our country, is educating a tiny fraction of what it was chartered to do, kind of going back in time. And the federal funding to Harvard has continued to increase kind of over this sort of period of time. You've got a CEO who has very little control, i.e. the president, Alan Garber. He's got a workforce that he can't fire, tenure. He's got an endowment that has very little liquidity, and now he's just put himself in a horrible place vis-a-vis the administration, and he's at risk of losing the tax exemption. And so Harvard is in a very bad place.
Yeah, it is a privilege, not a right. And Harvard, I think you picked the wrong battle here, because you're about to lose that right. Why should $1 of my money go to Harvard, which again has a $54 billion endowment and in essence operates as a private hedge fund? Why are we doing that? But to Bill's broader point, they picked the wrong fight here. All Harvard had to do in the last year was get control of its campus, was look at its admission practices, was remove some of the wokeness, was defend its students who just were paying an awful lot of money actually to go there and hopefully learn something, which obviously wasn't the case. All they had to do was just when they saw the culture shifting, was play ball a little bit with Trump, but they doubled down every time. They're trying to figure out other ways to rename DEI to still be discriminatory as it comes to admissions, and not actually, what do I always say, not take that mirror look in it and be like, boy, maybe we are the bad guys and Harvard is going to pay the price. I will make a bold prediction on this show. What do I always say? It's like the woke virus. It basically is the alien from the Alien movies, and it gets inside you and it destroys the host. It's not going to happen tomorrow with Harvard, but it is going to happen over the next decade or so. We are going to see that place go down, and rightfully so.
If you're tossing and turning at night or feeling on edge during the day, it might be time to try CBD from CB Distillery. Millions have already made the switch because it works. In fact, over 90% of customers report better sleep with CBD, but it's not just for sleep. CB Distillery has targeted formulas for stress, mood, focus, post-workout pain, and even CBD for pets. All made with clean, premium ingredients, no fillers, no junk. With over 2 million happy customers and 100% money-back guarantee, CB Distillery is the name to trust. And right now, you can save 25% off your entire purchase. Just go to cbdistillery.com and use promo code Rubin. That's cbdistillery.com, promo code Rubin.